The butterfly effect
is the underlying principle and inevitable logical conclusion of chaos theory.
We talked about that the other day in physics. Well, after physics, you could stay late for like a seminar or whatever. I know it's like quantum physics or something crazy, but it was extra credit and it seemed really cool and kind of like sci-fi-y, so I went.
Though it has, suffers from, more aptly put, a fatalistic Wiccan connotation in popular culture, its mathematical explanation is more deeply rooted in scientific determinism. That means that within specified unchanging system, the minutiae, the seemingly negligible factors in an instance of some work, some production of energy would result in huge discrepancies in output. In other words,
the butterfly effect is when something bad happens because of one little tiny mistake you made that turns into another mistake and then another, and they all add up in the long run to really mess everything up.
Denotes a very small change in a bounded system. A change that could result in vastly different outcome than the one expected, than the desired often.
I don't know. That may not be exactly right. To be honest, I wasn't listening that hard. It was kind of hard to focus because I was thinking about our circumstances.
Think about our circumstances here on Earth. The movement of air and water currents, position in reference to the sun, gravitational pull from the rest of the solar system, etc. All those elements combine to create reliable, predictable seasons, weather, climate. Now, imagine that there's another Earth.
He said this thing, the professor guy, if there was another Earth. And I was like, that would be something like walking directly into the sun. So stupid, so dangerous, but finally warm. Even if just for a moment. Actually, I think that's the only way to fix whatever's going on with us. I think me and you need to live on two different planets and not control them, the planets, but like have room to control ourselves. Because I think when I'm on this Earth, I think about you too much, and of course I'm so self-obsessed that thinking of you makes me think of us together, and it's like, I'm so tired of it. Of you, not you, just the way that I think about you, the way you're always with me, against your will and knowledge and probably your better judgment, and the way you never leave me alone. In my mind, in the way you don't even know it, or if you do, you don't care. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of feeling so tired. Like if there was
another Earth,
I think I would be the only one to live there. Yeah, sure, you can have this one. Just keep your late-stage capitalism and your Barnes & Noble and your mom. I'll start over. You're welcome.
This new Earth would be exactly like our Earth in every conceivable way, for the sake of argument. And these two Earths would have the same aforementioned external factors. Same air and water currents, same positions in the galaxy, same gravitational pull. Everything is the same.
Nothing is the same. It would be untouched by humans, and the whole Earth would be blue with ocean or covered in this lush, like rainforest just everywhere, teeming with sounds and like this feeling of holding your breath. And I would sink into the green and fall asleep, but I would still dream of you.
You might be wondering, okay, everything's the same. Who cares? Okay, everything's the same until it's not. And here's where the butterfly effect comes in. The butterfly effect is commonly believed to be named after a famous metaphor.
If a butterfly flaps its wings in one part of the world,
it could have caused a hurricane in another part.
Kind of beautiful, I guess, to think that one little difference could drastically change the outcome of your life. Yeah, kind of horrifying also.
If these two Earths we have with the same conditions everywhere, say we have a butterfly flap its wings westward on one and eastward on the other. Now, and go with me here, imagine we are in a hurricane season. And that tiny little flap of wings doesn't seem like a huge change, because it's not. But on Earth 1, that flap westward was just enough counteraction against the strong eastbound El Nino to prevent a huge hurricane. On Earth 2, it's the same tiny breeze that sends the weather over the edge, and Earth 1 is placid.
So weird. Because you seem so
Earth 2
and I am enveloped in this terrifying, never-ending, life-altering, life-ending storm because of one flap of a
life-ending
butterfly's wings.
storm. Because of one flap on a butterfly's wings. Now, for all we've covered about the name coming from the metaphor, this etymology isn't exactly true. The real reason for the butterfly name is that the data sequence for chaotic action creates a fractal that is in the shape of a butterfly's.
Maybe if I would have called you the night of, instead of the night after.
And the connection between the shape of that data and the story attached to the theory explaining the data, maybe that connection is just a coincidence.
Maybe if you would have trusted me when I said I would never sell you out or sell you short, I don't know.
The scientific answer to that question is, I don't know.
Is it scarier if you're the one culpable for that change? Or if you have no responsibility, but also no say, if it's completely out of your control?
James Blake says that chaos is simply order masquerading as randomness. Notice what I said before about the simple definition of the butterfly effect, which is that a very small change could result in a vastly different future than the one that we might have had in another timeline. If another butterfly had flapped its wings in another direction,
You could have been breaking up with me. Or we could have gotten married and then divorced, or married and lived in poverty, or in wrath, or married and just lived happily ever after, or never even met at all.
But
The key word here is could.
Yes, something as small as the flap of a butterfly wings could change everything, or it could not. But the story behind the name could be a coincidence, or not. And ultimately, it doesn't matter which is true, because either way, you're here listening to me talk about it, right? Or not listening. And that will lead to a change too, or not. That is, to me, incredibly interesting. As scientific theory, it's crazy to think that using mere formulas, we could literally predict the future algorithmically, except for one thing standing in our way, one thing that will probably never change. That could. No data will ever be specific enough to account for the could in humans, the could that humans cling to, with talents of wit and willful ignorance and a deeply artistic desire to leave some things up to chance. Because at least that way there's a chance that something could work out all right. People would rather have the hope of a could than the grim finality of a will.
I wish I could know if this were the right choice. But all I can do is just watch the wings send a shockwave into the wind and laugh at, like, the futility of it all and how whimsical that is, and just...
Though there is scientific evidence in abundance of determinism in this universe, because we will never understand it, we should never succumb to it. We see climate change, starvation, pollution, war, and there's this huge temptation to wait and see how things go, to see if some small, seemingly insignificant release of an energy that is not our own will fix everything for us. While the world rots around us, around our inaction, to go deeper and deeper into this ocean of apathy and to sink
into the grave.
But that's not enough. We should work to change even the littlest things. Try to make the smallest positive impacts in this desperate human hope that one of them could be the big one. The one that saves everything.
It seems hopeless.
And even though it's determined, it's not hopeless. Even if it looks permanent, we don't know the future. And thank goodness.
It makes you wonder.
Thank goodness.
Do
that
the
the
things
things
that people
people
do
do
matter?
matter.